How would you feel if you ever had a chance to meet your old friend after long 5 years? You will feel very happy, very excited, isn't it? Today, it is happening with Mr. Mohit, who is the owner of Mohit Projects and Consulting. And today, he is going to meet his old friend, Mr. Puneet, who is the owner of Creatives Private Limited. On the journey from Gurgaon to Noida, Mohit recalls the old days when Mohit and Puneet both were in same college of Faridabad. They were learning, growing, and implementing so much that after the college days, in the beginning of some years, they were able to create their own startups. Mohit created a company in Gurgaon, and Puneet created a company in Noida. And for the next 5 years, they were totally busy in growing their companies. However, in between, they were having several calls only to getting how it's going on the other end. But yesterday's call from Mr. Puneet was totally different. Puneet called, "Hey Mohit, what's happening? See, I have got a new business idea. And for that, you have to come to my office in Noida." Mohit says, "Yes, why not?" And Mohit was so much busy thinking about all the stuff that he forgot to realize that his driver has stopped his brand new BMW car in front of a very big building where he could see Creatives Private Limited. Now Mohit came out of the car, and to his surprise, Mr. Puneet was standing just in front of him, having a very big smile and definitely a long beard on his chin. Old friends hugged each other very tightly, and Puneet took Mr. Mohit to his office. Puneet's office was made up of glass in the center of the building. He could see outside the cabin, and everyone outside of the cabin see inside. And Mr. Mohit was very impressed. So after a little bit chit chat, both started having a meeting together. Soon, Mr. Puneet sees one of his employees, Mr. Mahesh. He is walking inside the company, but his face looks very sad. His steps are very slow. Puneet says, and he calls his office boy by ringing the bell. "Ramu, can you bring Mr. Mahesh in?" Ramu goes very fast and brings Mr. Mahesh inside the cabin. And as soon as Mr. Mahesh is coming in the cabin, Mr. Puneet says, "Hey Mahesh, have you forgotten the rule number 6? And Mr. Mahesh, after listening that word, "Oh my God, thank you, Mr. Puneet, for reminding me that rule." And he becomes very energetic, and he goes out of the cabin and very energetically goes to his desk. Mr. Mohit is very surprised. He sees that how some words from Mr. Puneet changed Mr. Mahesh completely. But because the business meeting was very important, so they continued. After a while, Mr. Puneet observes again one of his another employee, Mr. Ramesh. He looks in a very bad mood, and he was shouting on his subordinates. He was throwing the files on the table. And Mr. Puneet again rings the bell, asks, "Hey Ramu, can you bring Mr. Ramesh inside the cabin?" Mr. Ramesh enters in the cabin with a very angry face. Mr. Puneet, "Hey Ramesh, have you forgotten the rule number 6? And Mr. Ramesh, "Oh my God, thank you, Mr. Puneet, for reminding me." And now Mr. Ramesh is very enthusiastic, very happy, and he goes out of the cabin, hugged all the members to whom he was shouting a few moments ago. And he also reminded to other people who are also in an angry mood for the rule number 6. Now Mohit becomes impatient. He says, "Mr. Puneet, I know we are in a very important meeting, but I really want to know what is rule number 6. Mr. Puneet smiles. He says, "Rule number 6 is very simple. Don't take life so seriously, take life sincerely." Mohit says, "Oh my God, such a simple rule. I would implement this rule tomorrow onwards in my company. But before that, Puneet, just tell me one question. If rule number 6 is so much powerful, what about rule number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Puneet laughs very much. He says, Mohit, there are no other rules. Now Mohit becomes serious. He says, what? Rule number 6 is there. What about other rules? If you don't want to share, just tell me clearly. Now Puneet smiles, brings his one hand on the shoulder of Mohit and says, my friend, don't take life so seriously. See, my friends, there are so many circumstances, so many occasions when things are not in our control. We lose our smile from our face. But the most important thing is smile on your face. Even if you find no reason to smile, you can take your one finger, bring it down to your nose. You can feel the air coming in and out. You have found the biggest reason to smile. Dear friends, always remember rule number 6. Don't take life seriously, take life sincerely, because serious people sooner or later will find hospitals. And with this rule number 6, when you apply in your life, soon you will realize that you have become the most inspiring personality in the room who can create ripples of excitement, ripples of smiles on many, many faces in this world.